RFC news, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a bit of breaking news. There's nothing to do necessarily with Rangers Football Club as such, although we are going to be getting into some transfer news as Hamza Igamane, of course, has been confirmed to go to Lille. That's, of course, a done deal. We've been talking about that recently. However, of course, I'm here to talk about Jose. Now, with mounting pressure on Russell Martin, some of us believe, or a lot of the Rangers fan base believe, that this man should be sacked immediately. However, he does have currently the backing of the Rangers board. And again, we will see what plays out at the Old Firm game this weekend. If it is anything but a win, then I feel there is just going to be people walking away. And that's a scary, scary time, people losing faith. And of course, going into an international break, you could see that's usually where managers and boards usually part ways, if they are going to part ways. So, yeah, Jose Mourinho this morning, sacked by Fenerbahce after failing to qualify for the Champions League. Now, I do think that's a bit hard done by. They only lost narrowly, 1-0 over 2 legs, and did have 10 men. They lost to a very good side in Benfica as well. However, it looks as though they want to it looks as though they've parted company with them. Now, this leaves a world-class manager. Yes, his stock may be declining, but we've heard him say it before, we've heard him say it recently over last season. Would he be open to managing the Old Firm sides in the future? And he said yes. Could this be one last roll of the dice for Jose Mourinho coming to Glasgow? I just felt I'll give my opinion on it. Well, it's one of those situations that you'll probably love and hate it. People don't really like his pragmatic style of play. However, he's a winner. Maybe not as much these days, but he's a winner. And certainly in Scotland, you don't really have to be that great to beat sort of Celtic. If he's backed and got the money to go with it, then of course I can see him being a success in Glasgow and really wanting to get his career going again. That would be absolutely huge. So I would be for it. It would be certainly an interesting one. But let's see what happens this weekend. But if Russell Martin gets sacked soon, then, well, maybe, just maybe, we could see Jose Mourinho, the special one, arrive in Glasgow. Now, as I just went live here, ladies and gentlemen, there's also reports or confirmation now that Hamza Igamane has left the football club. Of course, after the spat over the weekend, refusing to come on, it just looked like the writing was on the wall when we heard that murmurs that he was going to be going to Lille. However, that has now been confirmed by both clubs, and Rangers announced it as an undisclosed fee, but we know that there was a release clause in place of around 12 million euros. So it will likely be 12 million euros as to the price that Rangers have received for him. Sad to see him go. I liked what he was all about. However, again, doesn't want to be here. We don't want players that don't want to be here. And Russell Martin pushing people out of the door. We've got a super chat, actually. Fiver. Thanks from Vix. Do it before anybody else gets them. Instant lift for the fans. Trophies guaranteed. I agree with regard to Jose Mourinho. I think in Scotland, you don't have to be that great. Rangers have a great budget. Celtic are not looking that great either. Jose could win the title. He was very, very close last season, by the way, winning the Turkish Super League with Fenerbahce. Really, really good points total. And if it wasn't for Galatasaray being so great, then it would have been a thing. So I'm happy. I would be happy to see Jose. And as you say, I think I touched upon it yesterday in yesterday's live stream, that the feel-good factor amongst the fans would go a massive way. It would go huge. Imagine the Old Firm game where Jose Mourinho has been announced. People just get behind it. There'll be no guessing or second guessing whether he's good, whether he's bad or whatnot. Everyone will be there for him and really get behind him. And Jose is a Rangers manager, I think. If you look him out at Rangers and Celtic, a bit of a villain. Rangers are always seen as the villains, I suppose, in Scottish football. We're all hated by the establishment and all this sorts of stuff in the SFA. So yeah, I think he would fit the character pretty well. It would be great and it would be absolutely amazing. And I think more importantly, we'd have a very, very good chance at winning trophies as well. He's a world-class manager. It's not just for just because he was good years gone by. I think he could really win us titles, and really that pool of players as well would be huge. Do you think he would come to us? I think so. Well, he said it recently, didn't he? In the Europa League game against Fenerbahce, he came out and said that he would be open to the idea one day. He said, I'm at Fenerbahce right now, so probably not right now. However, he's not longer with Fenerbahce now, so if it came up, then I'm sure he would probably take it. I think it's a club that he would want to get his teeth into. And if he does well at Rangers, then we've seen what happens if you do well at Rangers. You get big jobs. You know, you go on to his stock would increase, his stock would inflate. He'd be the guy known as to bringing Rangers' dominance back. And then all of a sudden, you look at it and you go down a different route, don't you? Realistically, you look at it like, well, Brendan, he went to Leicester, Ange went to Spurs. So you're only one success away, and they're Celtic managers, right? Stevie went to Villa. But when you're at Rangers, it's harder to be successful at Rangers than Celtic, because Celtic have always been kind of successful. And people were getting, Ange got a job at Spurs off the back of it. And Jose Mourinho's already got his stock anyway, he's always proven. But if he was the man to restore Rangers' fortune, then he would go somewhere else, you know? I'm getting so emotional at the thought of this potential. He said last season Scottish League is passion, and that's what he likes. Agree. Timothy says 100%. Bring him in. Legend, Jose Mourinho. Now, I don't like to just talk about random stories, you know, but there is something in this. Jose came out and said that he would manage. I know there was a lot of things to sort out and iron out before then, but Jose said that he would manage. So we'll see what happens in due course. Tonic says, well, hopefully RM gets the boot on Monday. Well, you know, I mean, him getting the boot means on Monday would suggest that we're going to be losing that game against Celtic, which I never want my team to lose a football game. So, of course, I want my team to win the football game and beat Celtic this weekend. But if he loses, then I don't see how the board can carry on with him. I really don't see how the board can carry on with him. Best getting him now. I don't think he is at his best anymore, but I do think he would have an impact in the Scottish Premiership. Exactly. Wasn't he early running when the 49ers took over? Seemingly he and Gerrard were joint favourites. Let's see, man. All I know is that he'll get a lot of support from the Rangers fan base, which is really, really special. So yeah, let's see what happens in due course. But hopefully something turns out and something happens. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on everything now as well with regard to potentially Jose Mourinho. How do you feel about him being sacked? Do you reckon he would do a job at Glasgow Rangers? And let me know your thoughts on Hamza Igamane, of course, now been officially confirmed to has gone to Lille. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.